What's going on, YouTube? Ferocity here. Hope you guys are doing well. There is a massive issue right now in the Black Ops 6 Beta. A problem that is causing outrage across the entirety of the Call of Duty community. However, we have not heard a single peep from the Call of Duty developers regarding a resolution to this problem. And if I were them, this would be on the top of my list. Because not only is it causing outrage within the community, that outrage is growing as more and more players are falling victim to this issue. The issue, of course, being false temporary bans for legitimate Call of Duty players. Now, I'm all for banning cheaters. I think that Call of Duty needs to be harsher and stricter on cheaters, and I think they need to have better detection systems. But unfairly banning legitimate players is where I draw the line. This is not okay, and if I was a developer over at Treyarch or even within the Call of Duty umbrella, I would be speaking out about this and working towards a resolution and finding a way to make these players not hate the franchise, because this does nothing but alienate players. So let's go through this Charlie Intel tweet first and then dive further into this absolute mess. Seems like many players have been given temporary bans in Call of Duty after playing the Black Ops 6 Beta, including pro players, despite the players not cheating. The shadow ban system in Call of Duty has always been problematic, and Activision still refuses to talk about it. So let's focus on the first part of this tweet first. The temporary bans that are going out, I believe, are for like 7 to 30 days, and that's it. So it's not a massive issue, but still unfairly banning players doesn't really feel like something you should do if you want to, make nice with your community, especially a community that you've pissed off. And unfortunately, a lot of the people that are probably playing Black Ops 6 right now are diehard fans of your franchise, and you're robbing them of that experience. And it's funny how there's already cheaters in the Black Ops 6 beta, but you don't really hear too much about them being banned. Instead, you hear about these legitimate players being banned instead. And I'm sure there are players that claim to be legitimate that are being banned because they've cheated. It wouldn't surprise me at all. Cheating is a massive issue in Call of Duty. But I do trust that there are players that are being wrongfully banned here because something is wrong within the Ricochet anti-cheat system. And that wouldn't surprise me. This is a system that has failed the community numerous times. Does not surprise me that it's failing the community again here in the Black Ops 6 beta. And it's very unfortunate. And it surprises me that there's been nothing said about it. And of course, maybe you could just get another account and you could get Game Pass again, or you could pre-order it again. And maybe that's what they want to increase and inflate their pre-order numbers. I don't know. But it just seems like a really bad idea to have this many people pissed off about you for doing nothing wrong. And that's the point I want to make here. These people should not be outraged at you for them playing by the rules, when it's very clear that you don't really care too much about those who don't play by the rules. Yeah, you eventually ban these accounts, but they just come back later anyways. There needs to be harsher penalties for cheaters, and these types of bans need to not happen. There needs to be an actual appeal process that helps players who have been wrongfully banned. But it's almost every single day that I see something pop up in a subreddit where somebody has been wrongfully permanently banned in Call of Duty just because no one really knows. And that's the problem here. There is no proof of why you're banned. There is no case that you can build either. And it just feels like Call of Duty selects a name out of a hat and says, you're banned, even if you've done nothing wrong. It needs to be top of mind, and it needs to be talked about that these bans are unfair and unjust to the community, especially when they see how rampant and common cheating is within Warzone and multiplayer. Get your act together, Activision. It's that simple. This is unfair to your community, and I'm sick and tired of seeing it. Now let's talk about the shadow ban system. As I understand it, players who are suspected of cheating go into a shadow ban system where they play against each other and use their cheats against each other. But it never gets talked about. Activision never says it actually happens. We just all assume. And this is the problem that Activision has, at least with me, is that they will implement systems and never talk about it within the community. And then they'll just expect the community to eventually forget about it or just continue to not talk about it. And this lack of transparency leads players to really distrust your product and your company. Do you think there's a lot of trust right now between Activision and the community? Regardless of what happened with the H2M mod, do you think there's a lot of trust here? No. Nobody trusts Activision. Nobody trusts Call of Duty because you cannot believe a word they say. And this is the problem. You could come out and be transparent. You could be honest. You could actually give the community what they want, which is proper feedback, and tell us you're listening. How hard is it for a developer to actually talk about this game? It's insane. You never hear a developer speak. Back during the heyday, as much as people disliked Robert Bowling, he at least spoke. Same with David Vonderhaar. There's a reason why people praise David Vonderhaar, because he actually talked to the community. He would say stuff on Twitter. The developers now hide behind the entire game, and I get it. There's a lot of hate out there, understandably so. You have to deal with idiots like myself. But nonetheless, there should be somebody out there rooting and being alongside the community, representing Activision, saying, we got you guys. And yeah, deal with the hate comments, but at least having somebody that you can put a name to. But you can't do that anymore in Call of Duty. You can't do that anymore with Activision because they want to protect their developers. But it leads to this distrust and this situation where nobody wants to believe what you say. You released this tweet back on September 1st after this problem had already been persisting. And this is what you said. During the Call of Duty Black Ops 6 beta, we are testing features and monitoring telemetry. Team Ricochet is being proactive with detections during the beta to stamp out illicit and compromised accounts across all platforms. The tuning for these detections are also in test during the beta. The team will continue to make adjustments to reduce issues players have experiencing while maintaining our commitment to remove cheaters. Sounds like a load of nothing, because players are still being unfairly banned, and cheaters are still in the game. What are you doing? Like, what are you doing? And you've said nothing. The top comment under this says, what about accounts that have been temporarily banned? I have a friend who can't play because of that, and he is a legal player. That's a lot of days he has to wait. Do you think that player is enticed to come back to your game after dealing with that? No. That's unbelievable. And this is exactly the issue with Call of Duty. They do not want to be transparent, they do not want to be honest, and they don't want to be forthright with their own community. And this is why there's so many players that feel alienated by it. Regardless of how good the game can be, regardless of the situation, players don't want to put trust in Call of Duty because Call of Duty refuses to reward that trust, to reward that loyalty, and give us an iota of honesty or transparency. And it's been an issue for years, and it remains an issue here with the Black Ops 6 beta. This was an opportunity to do right by the players, to have an actual reporting system that works, having checks and balances within your reporting system. But they don't want to do any of that. They want to take all of the onus off themselves and place it on the community. And that to me is completely unfair and unjust. I'm sorry to every single player that has been wrongfully banned. I really hope that Activision gets their act together and they can restore your account into good faith. Because it's disappointing that legitimate players are facing the brunt of a broken system. You don't deserve that. You deserve better. And honestly, that's all I've got to say. But those are my thoughts on this. I'd love to hear from you guys down below in that comment section. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. If you want to see more videos from me, please hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys next time. Activision, you're embarrassing.